Hello, it's Ian Cunningham from H&H Classics. We're here at the National Motorcycle Museum for our summer auction. Starts tomorrow, 9 o'clock we open the doors. The scooter section starts at 11, the motorcycle section at 12. We have 220 lots altogether, every shape and size, every budget. The unique thing about this auction is about 60% of the bikes in the auction are being offered at no reserve. So as you come into the main room, the main auction room where the podium is and the seats are out for tomorrow's auction, you walk through the doors and you've first of all got the competition bike section. To one side, off-road bikes, and to the other side, road racing bikes. Like the rest of the auction, a really eclectic mix of bikes, even just in this number of 15 bikes, we're spanning from the 1920s right up to the 2000s. Looking at this as an example, this is an AGS 7R, probably early 1960s. This is one of quite a number of bikes that have been entered into the auction from the National Motorcycle Museum. It's been on display in their lineup really for the last 20 years or so. They have realised now they've got a few duplicates of the same bike and they're trying to make room for a new display. So this has been entered into the auction and amazingly this is in at no reserve. So that's going to attract a lot of attention. Just going to the other end of the scale, we've got two of these Val Motor Triumph race bikes. This is when Triumph returned to racing in the early 2000s. Jack Valentine's Val Motor team ran the bikes. Highlight for the team was winning the TT with Bruce Sandsty in the early 2002, I think it was. These were team bikes. We've got one here, this was ridden by Callum Ramsey. The other one just behind me there was ridden by Craig Jones in the same year. I think Craig actually won races on that bike and actually there is a pair of his racing boots, signed racing boots, he's going to come together with that bike. Another interesting bike in this section, a very rare bike, the Yamaha TZ750, lot number 311 here. That was the race bike from the 1970s. Dominated Formula 750 racing. Every rider who was famous in those days, Kenny Roberts, Barry Sheene, Joey Dunlop won his first TTs on the TZ750. An absolutely iconic race bike. Very few have survived, obviously, with race bikes, especially because the engines were then taken out and put in sidecar races, who basically destroyed them. Whilst this isn't show winning, it's all there, the engine turns over. Nice and original, it has got a different swinging arm, but the original one comes with it. And that, again, is going to attract a lot of attention in the auction. So in the off-road section, mainly trials bikes this time, a few enduro bikes as well. And something like this one here, with quite a few bull tacos from one collection actually, a 125, 250. This one here is a 350 bull taco. Quite collectible, towards the end of the line for bull taco. Probably the ultimate one they made. They did reappear again many years later, but first time round this became like the best thing they ever made. Again, with off-road bikes, not many survive. They do get used and abused, so it's nice to find one that is still there in decent order. And this bike could be used in twin shock trials events, so it could still be used. Quite a competitive bike in those events. So the next thing you'll come across then are four Vincents in the centre of the room in a star shape, a cross shape. Bit of a selection again. Probably the most interesting one is this, actually an HRD. Pre-war Vincents were known as HRD. Any pre-war Vincent is very desirable. This is the 500 Comet single. They also made a few V-twins as well. Really nice condition and a very rare bike. They probably only made a couple of hundred of these, so quite a rare bike. Just the other Vincents quickly, we do have a Black Shadow there. Looks like a Series C Black Shadow. We actually have a Series B repeat, again, quite rare, the Series Bs with the girder forks. The one behind it again is the end of the line. That is a Series D repeat. Made in the days when they actually designed them for having bodywork on, so it's not the prettiest version of the Vincent, but quite rare. There were probably 130 or so of those made. From what we were told, Dad had one owner until a couple of years ago. One owner who passed it on to a friend who has now decided to move the bike on. Bit of a project, but an interesting project to take on. Doesn't need fully restoring, but could certainly stand a bit of tidying up. So as you get into the main body of the room, you'll see a big arc of, I think there's about 67, something like that, assorted British bikes. Really from the 1950s, 60s, 70s, possibly an 80s bike in here. Probably representing every one of the popular British bands of that time, the heyday of British motorcycles. One to point out here, this BSA, straight away people are going to look at that and say, no, that's a Triumph. Essentially, yeah, it's a Triumph. It would appear BSA had an order for bikes and the factory closed down, and to fulfil the order, they basically took a Triumph model off the sister company and put some BSA badges on it. So it was known as a T61, and it was satisfying, I think, an overseas order for police bikes. Made a few of them just simply to get the money in for that order. So if you buy this bike, you're going to turn up at vintage club rallies and everybody's going to start arguing about it, but it is the real thing. So very good talking point, that one. As we go down the line, on Velocet there, Douglas Dragonfly again, quite a bit different. Just stopping at this one here. This is a BSA Spitfire, made essentially for the West Coast American market. The American market were very, very important for the British, and they really satisfied them first. This is an early one. The first few hundred of these were actually made with Gold Star frames, better quality components, sold quite well, but then to keep the price down, they simplified them, going back to more basic A10 frames. So the early batch of Spitfires are very sought after. Beautiful condition, well turned out. So again, bike will attract plenty of interest. Sticking with the BSA theme, yet again, another BSA twin. This is an A65, fairly standard bike, standard BSA bike from probably in the mid-60s. The thing about this bike is, if people remember the TV show Boone, which was about some dispatch rider, I think the man owned a dispatch firm, but was an amateur detective, very popular back in the 70s. It would appear they had 3 bikes that they used for filming, and this is one of the bikes that was used during that series. So got the original panniers there that were used in the filming. Probably been stood for a while, will need some recommissioning, but there's a nice little story behind this bike. Carried on down the line, again, we're back to an assortment, mainly BSAs and Triumphs. What else is there down there? There's probably a couple more Velocets down that end, but there's really a British bike for everybody here. So as you go down the right-hand side of the room, then there's a long line of what is essentially European bikes, mainly Italian this time, a couple of German, and just as a bit of a contradiction there is a Buell from America, but it's the only place we could fit it in. It starts off with quite a few small Ducati singles and a selection of bikes. Mainly these are from Pip Iam, well-known engineer, drag racer. All the bikes look factory fresh and standard, but they've all been modified. He couldn't help himself modify the bike. So if you look carefully at these bikes, either on the website or in person tomorrow, they're well worthwhile a good look at to see what specialist work has been done on them. As we follow down the line, 2 BMWs here. Nice old BMW 250 single there, and a 600cc twin. So a couple of old BMWs there. Following again down the line, another couple of classic names from Italian bikes. Ducati Mike Aylward replica, early Mike Aylward replica. One owner, well, I think it was 2 years old when the present owner bought it. Used it, even took it to Canada with him when he was stationed there in the army, rode it across Canada. Eventually he's having to realise he can't really manage the bike anymore. It's been recommissioned recently by Motor Rapido. So again, a bike well worthwhile looking at. Just as a contrast next to it, MV Agusta F4, that is. Probably one of the younger bikes in the auction, but an absolutely beautiful bike just to look at, let alone ride. You just look at that and it looks absolutely stunning. So the final ones down here are 3 Bimotos, all from the same collection. All been stood for a while, so they're all quite dusty. They all need recommissioning, but they're all priced very competitively. So they'd be really good bikes to buy. Spend a few days recommissioning and cleaning them up, and you've got some really exotic specialist equipment there. The end of the room then is the assortment of Japanese bikes. So of course, Yamaha, Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki. Something for everybody again, big 4 cylinders, even some small 50cc single cylinders. So well worthwhile a look. Just as an example, this is a very rare bike in the UK, never actually sold over here. So this is a 305cc twin cylinder, known as a Laredo. Probably sold more in America, so always a good looking bike. Now these American spec ones with the high level exhaust pipes with the semi off-road look about them. And again, something you won't see in the UK that often. Following down here, again, smaller bikes, interesting little RG125 there that again, you don't see many of. Looking at this one here, this is the classic Honda RC30. One of the most iconic bikes ever made. Dominated racing, TT racing, World Superbike racing. Most of them got raced. This one appears to have survived in really nice standard condition. All the bits that normally go missing, even the little plastic infills on the fairing which got thrown away, are still there. So that's a really good iconic bike that will always be collectible. So hopefully that's given you a taster of the bikes we have in the auction. 220 lots, like I said before, 60% at no reserve, so there is definitely something for everybody. The bikes range from probably about 1903 from a P&M up to maybe up to 2000 for some of the later sports bikes. Like I said, every shape and size, every budget catered for. If you do come tomorrow, the best way is obviously to come in person, look at the bikes, check the documentation and bid in person. It's always worthwhile registering online first at our website at www.h&h.co.uk. If you do that, it means when you arrive at the auction, you can then just walk straight up to the bidder's registration desk, show them some ID, ideally your driving licence, give them your postcode, and you will get a bidding number very quickly. Best way to come in, enjoy the day. It's going to be a really good day. If you can't make it in person, again, you need to be registered online, but if you can't make it in person, you can then do a commission bid. You can put a commission bid in beforehand, you can book a telephone bid, or you can bid live online through the website. Again, essentially you're registered online first, but there's all those options to buy. If you do buy a bike at the auction, whether you're here in person or not, we do need to clear the auction venue by lunchtime on Thursday. There are transport firms in the room who can handle the transport for you. If you can come with your own transport, you can take the bike away as soon as it's been paid for. To be honest, for us, the sooner the bikes start moving out, the better, because we've all these bikes to move on in 24 hours. So certainly we'll help you move the bike out as quick as we can. So yeah, tomorrow, doors open at 9. National Motorcycle Museum, very easy to find, Junction 6 on the M42 motorway. Bags of parking. There's a nice cafe going to be set up in one of the rooms, so you'll be able to get yourself a sausage roll, a sandwich and a brew. It's a really good day out. The last auction, people walked out saying what a good day they've had, and even if you're not successful, it's well worthwhile attending and just seeing what there is. And hopefully, fantastic day. And we hope to see as many people as possible to look at the bikes live.